Let's get some reaction now, and I'm joined by Storm Barry from Ulrich Roux and Associates. Storm, good afternoon. Is this a fair sentence for perjury?
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for having me. Look, yeah, in my opinion, it's particularly a lenient sentence, given that it is her second offence of dishonesty. And I think what one must understand is that although there is no minimum sentence for perjury, I do think that the sentence handed down this morning could have been harsher. But then again, the court, as we all know, cannot be prescribed as to what the sentence should be. So with that being said, I believe the sentence is, one can say it's fair, but the fine, given her political profile and given her position in society, not as fair.
Yeah,
so,
can you just unpack for our viewers? I mean, what is perjury? Perjury, and how serious an offence is it?
Yeah, so look, I mean, the sentence that she received today is surprising. It's not shocking. The perjury is the offence of intentionally telling an untruth or making a misrepresentation under oath. Simply put, it's lying under oath. And the test in this case is that it must be proven beyond a reasonable doubt that at the time that the person gave testimony or deposed to an affidavit, that they in fact knew that what was being said was a falsehood or an untruth. And so it is a very serious offence, and it happens more often than one may think, both in the sphere of the government and political, maybe I can term it heavy hitters, but also with your average lay individuals telling intentional untruths. As recent as I mean, think about, if you think as recent as 2021, there were charges brought against public protector Usisiwe Mkhwebane, and she was accused of lying under oath in 2017 when she intentionally deposed to an answering affidavit in a high court review application. So it happens more often than we think, and it is a very serious offence.
Now, if it's that serious, as you've just painted the picture, and you said earlier it's not her first offence, and she was a minister at the time, what then would be some of the aggravating factors that go into sentencing someone? Although you said we said there's no minimum prescribed sentence in this. I mean, she was very high profile, and she still is, by the way. She's the president of the ANC's Women's League.
Yes, exactly. Look, as a starting point, Dlamini, as a former office bearer, is supposed to be setting an example in society, right? And the office which she had occupied expected her to conduct herself with the highest level of honesty, transparency, accountability. And so this greater level of responsibility is expected from someone in her position, because it affects millions of social grant beneficiaries who were looking up to her for their grants. In answering your question as to aggravating factors, it's interesting that you ask about aggravating factors and not mitigating factors. But so there's several aggravating factors. The one core one, in my opinion, being that she has a previous conviction of fraud, right? In a dishonesty-related matter in 2006, and so this most definitely counts as an aggravating factor. Then moving on to, when she was convicted of the crime of perjury, she was acting as a public servant, and so most definitely not beyond reproach. And she deliberately, can be said that she deliberately wasted taxpayers' money. And further, she further failed to take the court into her confidence, and that she chose not to take the stand. She chose not to testify. And she continued to mislead the court. So that's definitely an aggravating factor. And then another factor that comes to mind is, I mean, as seen earlier today, she showed no remorse for her actions in court. And this was definitely taken into account by the magistrate who handed down the sentence. Hence
your view, I understand you with that answer, that you think it was lenient, but it was a fair sort of sentencing. However, can I just ask this? I don't know if there is any such a thing. Is there a maximum sentence for perjury?
There is 5 years, if I'm not mistaken. And I mean, if you look at what's happening today in the political sphere, South Africa and society is absolutely yearning for government officials and politicians and individuals to be held accountable for their actions. So despite my view that the sentence could have been more hefty, it's still a win in and of itself in bringing her to book.
Thank you very much, Storm Berry. Some of your analysis and insights there and reaction on the sentencing of former Social Development Minister Bathabile Dlamini and the current president of the ANC Women's League. Storm is from Ulrich Roux and Associates.